Hey guys, Smitty here. Thanks for tuning in and welcome back. So we are back in Valheim, and today we are going to take a little bit of a closer look at my recent tavern build. So I did do a pretty awesome cinematic of this, so make sure you check that out if you haven't already. But without further ado, grab a snack, grab a drink, and let's get right into it. This is the tavern. So first, let's just start with the exteriors. I'll enter free fly mode. So again, the idea for this build was to build like a tavern type structure, just like a big building that would have like a bar and a place where a bunch of people would be eating and being merry and so on and so forth. I built it here in the meadows. Wanted to build something near the water, and so we found just a nice little spot kind of entering maybe the opening of like the ocean into like a riverway through some of the land here. And I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I mean, who knows? There might be some of you out there who think it looks like booty cheeks. I mean, we'll see. But again, really happy how it turned out. When I started, believe it or not, I wasn't really sure what exactly I wanted to do design-wise, and we just kind of worked through it. Did a lot of, restarting and figuring it out. But at the end of the day, I am happy with how it turned out. So if we take a closer look at the exteriors here, it really is just like one large main building. We do have this other segment here, which is actually a kitchen. I had to do some experimentation with what exactly I wanted to do for detailing. So as you'll see with this build, I wanted to mix a lot of the stone with the wood. So this whole first level here is really just stone as like the foundation, wall, and floor. And then I just use the beams and stuff to create the detailing to make it look like there's window frames and things like that. As you can see, I also did a little garden here. Haven't done a ton of experimentation with different designs when it comes to planting stuff, but I wanted to give it a go. Did a nice little kind of circular curved garden, which I think it looks nice. I mean, it's just a nice, interesting point in the front of the building. As you can see, we also did an interesting little stairway design here in the front. It doesn't work perfectly. We have some, we had to fill in the gaps here with some of the beams, which means that when you walk up, it can be a little bit janky and you get blocked. But aesthetically, it looks pretty cool, and I'm really happy with how that worked out. I thought it was an interesting way to create an entrance into this tavern. The roof was a real struggle. I'm happy with how it turned out, but I mean, I scrapped it a couple times and started over. Roofs are really difficult because it's such a big part of the structure, and you don't want it just to be boring and flat. And so I try to find ways to make it look a little interesting. So maybe some of these little overhangs or things like that. And this is the design I came up with. We also have a bit of a pattern here on the end, which I think just makes the fringe here look a little bit more interesting, just design-wise. I'm pretty happy with how that worked out. But yeah, a lot of trial and error on the roof. It took forever to build too, because it does get a little bit higher. So a lot of the foundations inside I had to work around and try to make sure that we could build up this high without the thing collapsing. But end of the day, pretty happy with how that worked out. If we go on to the back here, so this is where we have exposure to the water, so kind of this riverway through the continent here. So this is our kind of miniature dock. As you can see, we have some supplies just that they maybe use for the tavern itself. We did create this little balcony area, and I did some experimenting with different shapes for this hearth. So I wanted to create something a little more circular and just really use some of the beams and then filled it in with some of the wood flooring. And whenever you can integrate some sort of circular design, I think it looks nice because everything is so square and gridded. So I think it's a nice switch up in shape, which I like. And I know, so I mean, obviously, as you have stuff that's wood and that's outside, there is, it'll wear from the weather. But I actually don't mind how it looks, how it mixes with some of the brighter wood. Like, I thought about maybe repairing it, but I think I kind of like the mix in coloring, to be honest, and some of the green of the weathered wood kind of goes nicely with the green banners that we chose for the tavern. So really happy with how that worked out. So again, we have obviously a little stairway here into the water. We used our classic little bowed shape for the stairway, which is really nice. Just some lighting, create a little gazebo, open roof here on the balcony. And as if we move our way over around here, so this is where you'll see the chimney for the fireplace, which you'll see when we go inside. And again, just kind of our standard design to make it look nice and patterned. And again, I really love how the stonework mixed with the wood in this build just creates some nice patterns, and I think just looks nice to the eye. I do like how we also left this second floor much more open. So as you can see, it's closed off down below with the wood and the stone, but it's basically balconies all the way around. And so I think we kind of took advantage of the environment, the fact that we're in the meadows and things are pretty bright and they seem warm, and so we could mess with more of an open design, which I like. So if we venture on inside, so this is where the bar is, so it's actually one side of it, and it's a horseshoe design, but I thought it was kind of interesting to have maybe a little nook here where you could access it right out from the entrance. So if we go back around through here, this is when we'll see the other side. So again, kind of a horseshoe bar here. I think it looks pretty cool, to be honest, just where it sits in the building itself. This is the kind of fireplace hearth area, and I'm really happy with how this one turned out. I thought about it for a while. How exactly did I want to frame it? Because I did want it to be a bit of a centerpiece of the tavern, and I didn't want it just to be level. I always like to experiment with differing heights, and I think it just makes it look more interesting. And so I thought about it, and I said, it would be really cozy if you could go down into the fireplace area. And so that's why I made it kind of sunken down in here. And I love the effect that it has, because then you have some surrounding balconies. Everyone can look down into this kind of common space where people could be feasting. But then I just love the way that the fireplace is just framed with the wood and the stone. And I was really happy with how that worked out. And I love our choice of green in here. I think it just really works, considering we're building in the meadows. And I think it just looks really nice overlaid against the wood that we have. So again, the top floor is really just a lot of balconies going all the way around. We go out here. So this is that balcony out back. This is another, one of those custom tables that I do, where instead of just using the furniture item, you can actually use those little top square pieces and then just put in some floors, and it's a little bit larger and just a bit of an alternative if you're looking for something else for a table. And then we have those circular fire pit hearth areas, which I really like. So if we go over this direction, this is where we built the kitchen, and I really love how this turned out. And we did a little bit of experimenting, just trying to be creative to come up with some additional things. So for instance, if you look over here, I wanted this to be kind of like a pie oven or a stone oven, and so I used some of the sconce fires to lay it underneath, so we still get the illusion of fire, but we don't get all the smoke. I think it definitely sells the idea of some kind of oven or something like that. And then we just decorated it with a lot of different food items, things like that. Used a lot of the stone for just some counter space, and then try to create a bit of a cooking area. Use the same idea with the sconces, just to create the so there is fire, but not the smoke that might gather. You got to be careful with how many smoke generating things you put in a build, because it can be overwhelming at times. So again, I'm really happy with how this kitchen area turned out. I just think it's super cozy and nice, and obviously used our creativity to create some different things. Alright, and there you guys have it. So this is the tavern build. Really fun build. Hard because it's probably the largest single structure I've built so far in Valheim. Not saying much, haven't been playing the game that long, but again, really happy with how it turned out. Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments. If you guys are enjoying the videos, please make sure you like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Thanks.